Welcome to MRU E-Learning powered by Malla Reddy University. I am Professor and Dean Academics and Planning. Today I am here to give a complete brief about national education policy exclusively designed by Government of India in the year 2020 for higher educational institutions, private universities, deemed universities all over the India. So the contents of this presentation includes introduction, 21st century requirements for quality higher education, institutional restructuring and consolidation towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education, optimal learning environments and support for students. In that regard, internationalization, student activity and participation, financial support for students, motivated, energized and capable faculty, equity and inclusion in higher education, teacher education that is required, reimagining vocational education, catalyzing quality academic research in all fields, curbing commercialization of education, effective governance and leadership for higher education institutions that is required, and keeping all in view what is the strategic plan that is being adapted for the next 5 years by Malla Reddy University. That is what all about the contents where I am going to share. So moving to this first slide, quality universities and colleges, a new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. So that is the actual motto of national education policy which has been introduced by the Government of India in the year 2020. Higher education plays an extremely important role in promoting human as well as societal well-being and in developing India as envisioned in its constitution, a democratic, just, socially conscious, cultured and human nation upholding liberty, equality, fraternity and justice for all. Higher education significantly contributes towards sustainable livelihoods and economic development of the nation. As India moves towards becoming a knowledge economy and society, more and more young Indians are likely to aspire for higher education. So what is the 21st century requirements with respect to quality higher education? The main aim is to develop good, thoughtful, well-rounded and creative individuals. It must enable personal accomplishment and enlightenment, constructive public engagement and productive contribution to the society. For the purpose of developing holistic individuals, it is essential that an identified set of skills and values will be incorporated at each stage of learning from preschool to higher education. So some of the major problems currently faced by the higher education system in India includes a severely fragmented higher education ecosystem, less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes, a rigid separation of disciplines, especially with early specialization and streaming of students into narrow areas of study, limited access particularly in socio-economical disadvantageous areas like rural areas with few HEIs that teach in local languages, limited teacher and institutional autonomy. Inadequate mechanisms of merit-based career engagement and progression of faculty and institutional leaders, lesser emphasis on research at most universities and colleges, and the lack of competitive peer-reviewed research funding across disciplines, suboptimal governance and leadership of higher educational institutions, and ineffective regulatory system, large affiliating universities resulting in low standards of undergraduate educations. So what is the vision of national education policy? Moving towards a higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges with at least one in or near every district and with more higher educational institutes across India that offer medium of instruction or programs in local and Indian languages. Moving towards more multidisciplinary undergraduate education. And next one is moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy, revamping curriculum wherever possible, pedagogy, assessment and student support for enhanced student experience. And moving to the next point, reaffirming the integrity of faculty and institutional leadership, positions through merit appointments and career progressions based on teaching, research and service, establishment of a national research foundation to fund outstanding peer-reviewed research and to actively seed research in universities and colleges, governance of higher educational institutes by high qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy, light but tight regulation by single regulatory for higher education. In continuation, increased access, equity and inclusion through a range of measures including greater opportunities for outstanding public education, scholarships by private and other philanthropical universities for disadvantaged and underprivileged students, online education and open distance learning, and all infrastructure and learning materials accessible and available to learners with disabilities. So these are the prime visions that are being displayed or framed for national educational policy. And coming to the first one, institutional restructuring and consolidation. So as per NEP, what are the measures to be taken for institutional restructuring and consolidation? There are 11 to 12 agendas that are being defined. Moving to the first agenda, the main thrust of this policy regarding higher education is to end the fragmentation of higher education by transforming higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and higher educational clusters or knowledge hubs, each of which will aim to have 3,000 or more than students. And moving to the next agenda, agenda 2, moving to large multidisciplinary universities wherever possible and making higher educational institutions as clusters. Thus, the highest recommendation of this policy regarding the structure of higher education. The ancient Indian universities, Takshashila, Nalanda, Vallabhi and Vikramshila, which had thousands of students from India and the world studying in vibrant multidisciplinary environment, amply demonstrated the type of great success that large multidisciplinary research and teaching universities could bring. Just I want to show the glimpses of those universities. You can see the pictures of Takshashila, which is the world first university which is having large intake of students, where they have utilized the opportunities of multidisciplinary opportunities that are being provided by Takshashila University. Similarly, we can know the history of Nalanda University, Vadodara, where I have shown the glimpses. You can see the pictures of those universities where they have implemented. And next, moving to the agenda number 3, a university will mean a multidisciplinary institutions at higher learning that offers undergraduate and graduate programs with high quality teaching, research and community engagement. An autonomous degree granting college, in short we call it as autonomous college, will refer to a large multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that grants undergraduate degrees and is primarily focused on undergraduate teaching, though it would not be restricted to that and it need not be restricted to that, and it would generally be smaller than a typical university. Moving to the next agenda number 4, a stage-wise mechanism for granting graded autonomy to colleges through a transparent system of graded accreditation will be established, so that the colleges will be encouraged, mentored, supported and incentivized to gradually attain the minimum benchmarks required for each level of accreditation. With appropriate accreditations, autonomous degree granting colleges could evolve into research-intensive or teaching-intensive universities as they aspire. Moving to the next agenda number 5, all higher educational institutes will have the autonomy and freedom to move gradually from one category to another based on their plans, actions and effectiveness. The most salient marker for these categories of institutions will be the focus of their goals and work. The accreditation system will develop and use appropriately different and relevant norms across this range of higher educational institutes wherever that is applicable. However, the expectations of high quality of education and of teaching learning across all higher educations will be the same, even though the accreditation levels may be different, but whatever the final goals that are to be reached by all higher educational institutes will be the same. And moving to the next agenda, number 6, In addition to the teaching and research, all higher education institutes will have either crucial responsibilities which they will discharge through appropriate resourcing, incentives and structures. They also include supporting other higher education institutes nearby in their cluster, in their development, community, engagement and service. Contribution to various fields of practice, faculty development for the higher education system and support to school education. It is like training the trainee. Moving to the next agenda number 7, by 2040, all higher education institutes shall aim to become multidisciplinary institutions and shall aim to have larger student enrollments, preferably in the thousands, for optimal use of infrastructure and resources that are already been established and for the creation of vibrant multidisciplinary communities. Since this process will take some time, all higher education institutes will firstly plan to become multidisciplinary by 2030 and then gradually increase student strength to desired levels, so that whatever the infrastructure that is required, definitely all higher education institutes will be in a position to provide for the students that have been joined in that particular higher education institutes. Moving to the next agenda number 8, that have been defined by National Education Policy 2020, more higher education institutes shall be established and developed in under-reserved regions to ensure full access, equity and inclusion. So by 2030, be at least one large multidisciplinary higher education institute in or near every district is the main goal of National Education Policy. Steps shall be taken towards developing high-quality higher education institutions, both public and private, that have medium of instruction in local Indian languages or bilingual, wherever that is required. The aim will be to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education, including vocational education, from 26.3% as per the statistics in 2018 to 50% by 2035. So moving to the next agenda number 9, growth will be in both public and private institutions with a strong emphasis on developing a large number of outstanding public institutions. There will be a fair and transparent system for determining increased level of public funding support for public higher education institutes. This system will give an equitable opportunity for all public institutions to grow and develop and will be based on transparent pre-announced criteria from within the accreditation norms of the accreditation system. Higher education institutes delivering education to the highest quality as laid down in this policy will be incentivized in expanding their capacity. The opportunities accordingly will be given. And moving to the next agenda number 10, institutions will have the option to run open distance learning ODL, in short we call, and online programs, provided they are accredited by the corresponding accreditation bodies to do so in order to enhance their offerings, improve access, increase GER and provide opportunities for lifelong learning, which maps on par with the Sustainable Development Goal number 4. All online programming and open distance learning programs and their components lead to any diploma or degree will be of standards and quality equivalent to the highest quality programs run by the higher education institutes and universities on their campus. So moving to the agenda number 11, single stream higher education institutes or universities will be phased out over time and will move towards becoming vibrant multidisciplinary institutions, or we can call them as private universities or deemed universities or parts of vibrant multidisciplinary clusters in order to enable and encourage high quality multidisciplinary and cross-disciplinary teaching and research across the fields. Single stream universities will in particular add departments across different fields that would strengthen a single stream that they currently serve, so that multidisciplinary or options are being given to the students. Through the attainment of sustainable, suitable accreditations, all higher education institutes and universities will gradually move towards full autonomy, academic and administrative, in order to enable this vibrant culture. So moving to the next agenda number 12, the new regulatory system envisioned by this policy will foster their overall culture of empowerment and autonomy to innovate, including by gradually phasing out the system of affiliated colleges or any type of universities will be over a period of 15 years through a system of graded autonomy and to be carried out of a challenge mode. So each existing affiliating university will be responsible for mentoring its affiliated colleges so that they have the autonomy of developing their capabilities and achieve minimum benchmarks that are required in academics and curricular matters. So all colleges currently affiliated to a university shall attain the required benchmarks over time to secure the prescribed accreditation benchmarks and eventually become autonomous degree granting colleges or universities. So moving to the agenda number 13, the overall higher education sector will aim to be integrated higher education system, including professional and vocational education. This policy and its approach will be equally applicable to all higher educational institutes, universities across all current streams, which would eventually merge into one coherent ecosystem of higher education. So moving to the last agenda, universities worldwide means a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate, graduate, PhD programs and engages in high quality teaching and research. The present complex nomenclature of higher education institutes in the country, such as deemed to be university, affiliating technical university, unitary university, shall be replaced simply by university on fulfilling the criteria as per the norms. So keeping all this agenda 1 to 14 stipulated by National Education Policy, how the universities or higher education institutes can move towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education will be the next agenda of my presentation. So moving towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education. So here we are going to highlight the approaches where the higher education institutes or universities can directly move to achieve in that particular direction. Approach 1. So ancient Indian literary works such as Banabhatta's Kadambari describes a very good education as knowledge of the 64 kalas of arts, and among these 64 arts were not only subjects such as singing and painting, but also scientific fields such as chemistry, maths, vocational fields such as carpentry and clothes making, professional fields such as medicine and engineering, as well as soft skills such as communication, discussion and debate. So all put together, they have framed 64 kalas, and where it is been represented as Banabhatta's Kadambari. The very idea that all branches of creative human endeavor, including mathematics, science, vocational subjects, professional subjects, soft skills, should be considered as arts, as distinctly has Indian origins. So this notion of a knowledge of many arts, or what in modern times is often called as liberal arts, must be brought back to Indian education, as it is exactly the kind of education that will be required for the 21st century, where most of the students are looking for. And this is a glimpse of what actually, as I mentioned, the Kadambari, how it is been highlighted about the 64 kalas, which includes all your professional course, vocational course, arts, singing, everything. And moving to the next approach, assessments of educational approaches in undergraduate education that integrate the humanities and arts with science, technology, engineering and maths, where in short we call them as STEM, having consistently showed positive learning outcomes, including increasing creativity and innovation, critical thinking and higher order thinking capacities, problem solving abilities, teamwork, communication skills, more in-depth learning and mastery of curricular across fields, increases in social and moral awareness, etc. Besides general engagement and enjoyment of learning. So research also improved and enhanced through a holistic and multidisciplinary education approach. So once this type of option or a platform is being created, obviously it has been observed that research is being tremendously increased in various disciplines. And moving to the approach number 3, A holistic and multidisciplinary education would aim to develop all capacities of human beings, intellectuals, aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, and moral in an integrated manner. Such an education will help well-rounded individuals that possess critical 21st century capacities in fields across the arts, humanities, languages, sciences, social sciences, and professional, technical, and vocational fields, an ethic of social engagement, soft skills such as communication, discussion, and debate, and rigorous specialization in a chosen field or multiple fields. Such a holistic education shall be, in the long term, the approach of all undergraduate programs, including those in professional, technical, and vocational disciplines. Moving to the next approach, number 4. A holistic and multidisciplinary education, as described so beautifully in India's past, is indeed what is indeed for the education of India to lead the country into the 21st century and the 4th industrial revolution, what we are calling it as Industry 4.0, which has even moved to Industry 5.0 also. Even engineering institutions such as IITs will move towards more holistic and multidisciplinary education with more arts and humanities integrating into their curriculum. Students of arts and humanities will aim to learn more sciences and all will make an effort to incorporate more vocational subjects and soft skills. Moving to the next approach, number 5, flexibility in curriculum and novel and engaging course options. So choice-based credit system is been already introduced, will be an offer to students in addition to rigorous specialization in a subject or subjects. This will be encouraged by increased faculty and institutional autonomy in setting curricula. So pedagogy will have an increased emphasis on communication, discussion, debate, research, and opportunities for cross-disciplinary and interdisciplinary thinking. Moving to the next approach, departments in languages, literature, music, philosophy, Indology, art, dance, theatre, education, mathematics, statistics, pure and applied sciences, sociology, economics, sports, translation and interpretation, and other such subjects needed for a multidisciplinary, stimulating Indian education and environment will be established and strengthened at all higher education institutes and universities. Credits will be given in all bachelor's degree programs for these subjects if they are done from such departments or through open distance learning mode when they are not offered in classes at the higher education institutions. And this is how the Department of English, Music Department, Philosophy, Art Department, if they are been integrated in the curriculum, in addition to their mainstream, definitely the students will feel something new and accordingly their way of attending will be increased, and at the same time their performance in the regular stream also will be increased. And moving to the next approach, number 7, towards the attainment of such a holistic and multidisciplinary education, the flexible and innovative curricula of all higher education institutes shall include credit-based courses and projects in the areas of community engagement and service, environmental education and value-based education, which serves the societal needs. Environment education will include areas such as climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation of biological diversity, management of biological resources and biodiversity, forest and wildlife conservation, and sustainable development and living. So keeping all this in view, our university already has been defined the sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable development goals, and all the curriculum that is being framed is on par with all these approaches that are being defined by National Education Policy. Value-based education will include the development of humanistic, ethical, constitutional and universal human values. In short, we call it, in Sanskrit it is called as Satya, righteous conduct, Dharma, peace, Shanti, love, Prem, non-violence, Ahimsa, scientific temper, citizenship values, and also life skills lessons in seva/service and participation in community service programs will be considered as an integral part of holistic education. So in the university, we have a very strong NSS and NCC units where the students are made to involve in various activities that have been conducted by these two departments. Moving to the, as I have mentioned, so environmental education and universal human values, if we can include one subject in the curriculum, definitely will make the students' mindset in a different way. Moving to the next approach, number 8, the structure and lengths of degree programs should be adjusted accordingly. The undergraduate degree will be of either 3 or 4 years duration with multiple exit options within this period with appropriate certifications. Example, a certificate after completing 1 year in a discipline or field including vocational and professional areas, or a diploma after 2 years of study, or a bachelor's degree after 3 years of program, where in short we can call it as multiple entry, multiple exit. The 4-year multidisciplinary bachelor's program, however, shall be preferred option since it allows the opportunity to experience the full range of holistic and multidisciplinary education in addition to a focus on the chosen major and minors as per the choices of student. As I previously mentioned, the entire curriculum that has been adapted in the university is choice-based credit system and outcome-based education is adapted so that the students have the choice of choosing their own subject in whatever the areas they are interested. And in addition to that, an academic bank of credit, in short we call it as ABC, shall be established, which would digitally store the academic credits earned from various recognized higher educational institutes so that the degrees from an higher education institute can be awarded, taking into account credits earned that are getting reflected in this ABC. The 4-year program may also lead to a degree with research if the student completes a rigorous research project in their major areas of study as specified by the curriculum of the university or higher education institutes. So this is how the Akhila Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, how ABP, they have been very clearly mentioned. Academic bank of credit shall be established to digitally store the academic credits earned by students, where now it is being made mandatory for all the higher education institutes and universities. Accordingly, this has to be implemented by all institutes. And moving to the next approach 9 that has been stipulated by National Education Policy, all higher education institutes will have the flexibility to offer different designs of master programs. There may be a 2-year program with the second year devoted entirely to research. For those who have completed the 3rd year bachelor's program, that is one option. The next option is for the students completing a 4-year bachelor's program with research, they could be having only a 1-year master's program. That will be the second option. And moving to the third option, there may be an integrated 5-year bachelor's master's program. Undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree with research. So the MPhil program shall be discontinued, which is not required. So based on the 3 options that have been put forward, the student can opt any one of these according to National Education Policy. Moving to the next approach, model public universities for holistic and multidisciplinary education at par with IITs, IIMs, etc. called multidisciplinary education and research institutes will be set up and will aim to attain highest global standards in quality education. So there is no less back than IITs and IIMs. If all the rules are approached, all the approaches are been defined, if they are being implemented by higher education institutes, obviously they can have all the qualities on par with IITs and IIMs. They will also help to set up the highest standards for multidisciplinary education across India, and they can set to be a role model in their entire region. So moving to the next approach, number 11, higher educational institutes or universities will focus on research and innovation by setting up startup incubation centers, technology development centers, centers in frontier areas of research, greater industry academia in linkages, and interdisciplinary research including humanities and social sciences research. Given the scenario of epidemics and pandemics, it is critical that all higher education institutes take the lead to undertake research in areas of infectious disease, epidemiology, virology, diagnostics, instrumentation, vaccinology, and other relevant areas. So here definitely we should appreciate in the pandemic situation, I think India has taken the lead in coming out with the vaccination, where it has served in stopping that particular coronavirus. So in this regard, our university, because we have the opportunity for providing various courses, we have School of Allied Health Sciences, which seriously working on all the areas that have been mentioned in this particular approach, where we are coming out with a feasible and amicable solution for various roots of diseases that troubling the students, the community. Next, HEIs will develop specific hand-holding mechanisms and competitions for promoting innovation among student communities. The NRF, which will function to help enable and support such vibrant research and innovation culture across higher education institutes, labs, and other research organizations also will be taken care in this particular approach, which has been defined by National Education Policy. Moving to the next, optimal learning environments and support for students that are being provided at Malla Reddy University, Hyderabad. So moving to the first point, student activity and participation. So what type of activities that are being carried out and how the students are being made to participate. So here, I am very happy to say that students are the prime stakeholders in the education system. Vibrant campus life is essential for high quality teaching learning process. So towards this end, students will be given plenty of opportunities for participation in sports, culture, art clubs, eco clubs, activity clubs, community service projects, etc. in every educational institutions. So there shall be counseling systems for handling stress and emotional adjustments. So Malla Reddy University has taken the lead in establishing various centers of excellence in emerging technologies, various student clubs, not only academic related clubs, activities will be carried out, non-technical related activities are also been taken care by these student clubs, where the students are given the chance of actively participating in these type of activities that are being provided for the students. Furthermore, a systemized arrangement is being created to provide the request support to students from rural background, including increasing hostel facilities as needed. So within the campus, we have separate girls and boys hostels, so that whatever they are coming from different backgrounds, we see that they feel like a second home and all care is being taken care. All higher educational institutes should ensure quality medical facilities for all students in their institutions. So we also taken care in providing the medical facilities that is required. In the university, we have 24/7 medical facility that will be available. Not only that, nearby hospitals, in order depending on the seriousness of the student health, 24/7 ambulance also will be available. So internationalization. So I'm very happy to say that we have a twinning program that is being provided at the university, where we have tie-ups with various international universities, so that 3 years the student can carry his program in Malla Reddy University and 1 more year will be carried out. So a batch of students recently have been shifted to Pittsburgh University, USA, where this particular program is being appreciated, and most of the parents are also applauded for this, and a batch of students already they have successfully completed this twinning program, so that the students will have the internationalization exposure, so that all opportunities global wise we can provide to the students. And not only that, moving to the next point, financial support for the students also is being taken care by the university as per the national education policy that has been defined. So financial assistance to students is made available through various measures. So efforts will be made to incentive the merit of students belonging to SC, ST, or the OBC and other different castes that are coming for different various backgrounds. So the National Scholarship Portal will be expanded and see that it is being available to the students to support, foster and track the progress of students receiving scholarships. All private higher education institutes, including Malla Reddy University, encourages to offer large number of free internships and scholarships to the students who have opted this particular university. And moving to the next one, motivated, energized and capable faculty, which is one of the important stakeholder for any growth of the university or education institute. So in this regard, the most important factor for the success of higher education institutes or universities is the quality and the engagement of its faculty. So keeping this in mind, acknowledging the criticality of faculty in achieving the goals of higher education, various initiatives have been introduced in the university, and in this regard, several years to systematic recruitment and career progression ensure the university is going to ensure equitable representation from various groups in hiring the different faculty that are required in different verticals. So various initiatives are also being providing faculty with professional development opportunities, quality improvement program and various incentives that are being given to the faculty. And moving to the next one, equity and inclusion in higher education as per the National Education Policy is also been taken care by Malla Reddy University. Entry into quality higher education can open a vast array of possibilities that can lift both individuals as well as communities out of the cycles of disadvantage. In this regard, how we make quality higher education opportunities available to all individuals must be among highest priority. There is no constraint that this particular opportunity is restricted only to a set of people or students. All the opportunities is being kept open to all the students of all verticals, and accordingly they can utilize the opportunity. As previously I have mentioned in the previous slides, we have various center of excellences that are being established, where this center of excellence will provide various certifications. So this particular certifications is not restricted only to set of students. It is kept open. Only thing is the students have to register themselves, and accordingly once they complete the duration of the hours that is required, obviously they'll be eligible in getting the certificate in that particular domain. So that type of care is being taken care by the university. This particular national education policy envisions ensuring equitable access to quality education to all students with a special emphasis on sustainable development goals. Now, teacher education. As we are aware that the quality of teacher education at every stage has to be improved. So this learning is a continuous process. So all teacher education or the etiquette that is required for the teaching fraternity also is being taken care. So in this regard, the teacher education is vital in creating a pool of whether it is school teachers or university teachers or higher education institute teachers that will shape the next generation. So teacher preparation is an activity that requires multidisciplinary perspectives and knowledge, formation of dispositions and values, and development of practice under the best mentors. So in this regard, we are happy to say that the Malla Reddy University has been conducting various faculty development programs in association with various top IITs and NITs. So in this regard, regular FDPs are being organized at regular intervals of time so that the faculty also will get updated in the latest emerging technologies so that they in turn can share their knowledge to the students and become one of the best mentors for the students. So teachers must be grounded in Indian values, languages, knowledge, ethics and traditions including tribal traditions, while also being well versed in the latest advances in education and pedagogy. So we should make the teachers also to get exposed in all such type of environments so that they can handle the students in a very comfortable zone. Reimagining the vocational education. So vocational education always will be having a set of students will be encouraging. So in this regard, always the university also is taking lead in providing the vocational education. So just we can imagine what are various vocational educations that are available at the school level, intermediate level, degree level also. Even that type of platform that is required also is being taken care and provided in Malla Reddy University. Moving to the next one. Catalyzing quality academic and research in all fields through a new National Research Foundation. In short, we call it as NRF. As research also is one of the important vertical for the growth of any university. So in that regard, for NRF, what are the steps that are being taken by Malla Reddy University? Just I want to stipulate. And this is on par with National Education Policy 2020. So coming to the point one, knowledge creation and research are critical in growing and sustainable a large and vibrant economy, uplifting society and continuous inspiring a nation to achieve even greater heights. So indeed, some of the most prosperous civilizations such as India, Mesopotamia, Egypt and Greece to the modern era, where are strong knowledge societies that attained intellectual and material wealth in large part through celebrated and fundamental contributions to new knowledge in the realm of science as well as art, language and culture that enhanced and uplifted not only their own civilization but others around the globe. So moving in this particular regard, before I proceed to the next point, we have a very good incubation center and startup center, and we also have tie-ups with the Atal Incubation Center, and we have ALEAP, where exclusively for women empowerment we have established MOUs with such type of Atal Incubation Center. And not only that, we also have a very good tie-up with T-Hub, Telangana Government Hub, so that all this type of activities, especially research activities, are being encouraged both for the students as well as faculty community. And keeping in this view, and the point 2, as per National Education Policy, stress upon a robust ecosystem of research is perhaps more important than ever with the rapid changes occurring in the world today. So in this regard, I am very happy to say that we have a very strong R&D center which will categorize or which will provide all required tools for the faculty to carry out their own research programs. So our university is also offering PhD programs in various verticals. So all the research scholars who have registered in Malla Reddy University, they have the option of utilizing the state-of-art labs that are being established in the university, along with the Center of Excellences that are already available to the students. So I think we are on par providing the research vertical very strongly to the faculty as well as students as per the requirement of National Education Policy. And today, the criticality of research is more than ever before for the economic and intellectual, societal, environmental and technological health and progress of a nation. And as I clearly mentioned before also, we have 3 or 4 verticals: School of Engineering, School of Management, School of Allied Health Sciences, School of Agricultural, School of Sciences. So keeping all in view, this particular R&D center that has been established is kept open for all the schools so that they can carry out. And I am very happy that there are so many laurels that are being brought both by the faculty as well as the research scholars who have registered in Malla Reddy University. And there are enormous research publications that came and are being indexed in Scopus as well as top journals. And not only that, the index also, the H index of the university also is definitely appreciable level. And I'm happy to say that we have a handful of patents in various verticals that are being owned by Malla Reddy University. Moving to the next point, despite the critical importance of research, the research and innovation investment in India is the current time, which is only 0.69%, whereas when compared to 2.8% in United States of America, 4.3% in Israel, and 4.2% of South Korea. Keeping this percentage definitely as a statistical view, we are ready to uplift the research vertical from Malla Reddy University. And moving to the next point, the societal changes that India needs to address today, such as access for all its citizens to clean drinking water and sanitization, quality education and healthcare, improved transportation, air quality, energy and infrastructure definitely require and implement with amicable solutions that are only informed by top-notch science and technology, but also rooted by a deep understanding in the social sciences and humanities and the various socio-culture and environmental dimensions of the nation. So in this regard, whatever the societal requirements that the nation is looking after, definitely all the responsibilities are being taken care by all the schools, and accordingly the faculty and the students are coming with an amicable solutions, so that later on whatever the prototype that is being developed, obviously we can commercialize and we can come out with an amicable solution. So we have a very good excellent ecosystem that is already established, which will be taken care by this research requirements. And moving to the next point in this particular research activity, research and innovation at educational institutes in India, particularly those that are engaged in higher education, is very, very critical and stressed upon in the National Education Policy 2020. So keeping all these in things, and especially the evidence from the world best universities throughout history shows that the best teaching and learning processes at the higher education level occur in environments where there is also strong culture of research and knowledge creation. So we have created an environment such that this research vertical is been very vibrantly carried out both by the students and faculty in different domains. And moving to the next point, transforming the regulatory system of higher education. So that is one thing where we are also looking after. Definitely all the regulatory requirements is being framed, and accordingly we are moving in that particular direction on par with National Education Policy 2020. And curbing commercialization of education is one more important point where the Malla Reddy University also is taken care. And next one is definitely any university to grow, we require effective governance and leadership for higher education institutes, which is also been highlighted by National Education Policy 2020. So keeping this particular point, the effective governance that is required for the smooth running of the university, it is effective governance and leadership that enables the creation of a culture of excellence and innovation in higher education institutes. So we are very happy that we have a visionary management under their guidance, and with the very visionary view of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar and all Deans, definitely the university is proceeding in that particular direction. The common feature of all world-class institutions globally, including India, has indeed been the existence of strong self-governance and outstanding merit-based appointments of institutional leaders. So in this regard, we are very happy that Malla Reddy University, all the deans, heads, registrars and all top-notch leaders, they are having a very well qualified experienced people are being taken care, and accordingly our governance structure is so strong that the best we can take care and we can provide to the students and faculty. Next to this next point to add to this governance, through a suitable system of graded accreditation and graded autonomy, phased manner over a period of 15 years, all higher education institutes in India have to become independent self-governing institutions pursuing innovation and excellence. This is possible only if we have an excellent governance and leadership, so that the institutes and universities will flourish accordingly. So upon receiving the appropriate graded accreditations that deem the institution ready for such a move, the Board of Governors should be established, consisting of a group of highly qualified, competent and dedicated individuals having proven capabilities and a strong sense of commitment to the institutions. So Malla Reddy University is having a Board of Governors which are having both national and international exposure. In this regard, we are very happy to say that we are very strong in that particular governance structure. The BOG of an institution will be empowered to govern the institution free of any external interference, make all appointments, including that of head of institution, and take all decisions regarding governance. So with the approval of governing body, all decisions will be taken instantaneously, and accordingly, the IQAC of the institute will be taken care, the other requirements for the quality education that has to be implemented in the university. So there shall be overarching legislation that will supersede any contravening provisions of other earlier legislations and would provide for constitution, appointment, modalities of functioning, rules and regulations, and the roles and responsibilities of BOG. So accordingly, Malla Reddy University has established a very strong governance structure which will be taken care all the requirements that are been stipulated under National Education Policy 2020. And moving to the next point, number 3, that is being highlighted by National Education Policy, the BOG should be responsible and accountable to the stakeholders through transparent self-disclosures of all relevant records. It will be responsible for meeting all regulatory guidelines mandated by higher education institutes through a National Higher Education Regulatory Council, in short, which is called as NHERC. Moving to the next point, all leadership positions and head of the institutions definitely will be offered to the persons who are capable. Leaders of an higher educational institute will demonstrate strong alignment to constitutional values and the overall vision of the institution, along with the attributes such as strong social commitment, belief in teamwork, ability to work with diverse people, and a positive outlook. The selections will be carried out by the BOG through a rigorous, impartial, merit-based and competence-based process led by an eminent expert committee constituted by the Board of Governors. So we are very fortunate that we have a very visionary leader which is headed by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. V.S.K. Reddy sir, who is having a very well experienced in the teaching field for more than 30 years, who has international exposure and leading the university in all directions. So keeping all these points in view, the strategic plan for the next 5 years of Malla Reddy University is shown like this. The first point where the university want to focus is enhancing the learning environment and infrastructure. So definitely we have a very feasible learning environment. As I told you, the complete curriculum is choice-based credit system. Outcome-based education is implemented in all the schools. And we have a very excellent infrastructure which is going to render all the requirements of the students as well as the faculty. Moving to the second requirement, revamping the curriculum. So whenever there is requirement, because the technology is drastically changing, keeping that in view, we have a very flexible opportunity, because being a state private university, whatever the emerging technology that comes into the market and keeping on par with the industry requirement, industry 5.0 requirement, definitely we are regularly at regular intervals of time, the curriculum is being revamped, and we have many industry experts in our BOS as members, and accordingly their inputs are being taken, and accordingly the curriculum also is getting revamped at regular intervals of time. And next one, moving to the third point, fostering an inclusive collaborative learning culture is being established in the university. So keeping this particular point in view, we are taking care of providing collaborative learning culture in the university, as both for the students as well as the faculty, because as I said, we have excellent center of excellences that are being established and state-of-art labs where it is being kept open for all the students, so that any type of specialization of the students, they can go there and have a collaborative learning in whatever the domain they require. Various clubs are being established in their particular regard. Moving to the fourth point, advancing eco-friendly and sustainable practices. Now the entire globe is working on par with the sustainable development goals that are being defined by United Nations. I am very happy that we, Malla Reddy University, is one of the active member of United Nations academic inclusive, and we are establishing or we are implementing all sustainable development goals that are being defined by the United Nations. And moving to the next point, improving research and consultancy activities. As I said, we have very good active R&D center. We have so many tie-ups with various incubation centers. So research activity, that particular vertical also, we are very strong. And moving to the next point, international connection. As we are already implementing the twinning program, we have various MOUs with various multinational universities across the globe. And we have international activities that are being carried out so that our students and our faculty have international exposure. So this is what the strategic plan that has been defined for the next 5 years, starting from 2025 to 2030. So with this, I conclude the National Education Policy 2020 that has been framed by the Government of India, and how Malla Reddy University is taking care in implementing the National Education Policy. Thank you.